Aries, have you ever felt like you were standing at the edge of something enormous? Something just beyond your reach? Something that you could almost taste but could never quite grasp no matter how far you stretched? That feeling, that restless, almost electric sensation that something bigger is waiting for you just around the next corner. That is not your imagination playing tricks on you. That is your intuition recognizing what your mind has not yet caught up to. There are specific shifts happening right now. 7 of them, in fact, that have the power to move you out of the season you have been stuck in and into an entirely new chapter of abundance. Not someday, not eventually. Now, these are not dramatic, earth-shattering changes that require you to uproot your entire life. They are quieter than that, more subtle, more personal, but they are the exact kind of shifts that separate people who dream about abundance from people who actually live it. And if you stay with me through every single one of them, by the end of this you will understand exactly where you are in this process and what needs to happen next for you to step into the financial and emotional freedom that has been building beneath the surface of your life for longer than you know. Shift 1. Releasing the belief that struggle is your identity. The first shift that can move you into a new season of abundance is one of the most difficult, because it asks you to let go of something that has been part of your identity for a very long time. You Aries have built your self-image around being a fighter, a survivor, someone who earns everything the hard way because nothing has ever come easily. And there is truth in that. You have fought. You have survived. You have endured things that would have broken people with less fire in their spirit. But here is the question that the universe is asking you right now. Are you willing to let go of the struggle as your defining story? This is not about denying what you have been through. This is not about pretending that the hard times did not happen or that the scars you carry are not real. They are real. They matter. They shaped you into the resilient, powerful soul you are today. But there is a difference between honoring your past and being chained to it. There is a difference between remembering where you came from and refusing to leave. And that difference, Aries, is exactly where this first shift lives. When struggle becomes your identity, something very subtle and very dangerous happens. You begin to unconsciously resist ease. You begin to distrust good fortune. When something comes to you without effort, without pain, without a fight, you reject it. You push it away. You tell yourself it cannot be real because real things always come at a cost. But what if that belief is the very thing keeping abundance at arm's length? What if the universe has been trying to hand you gifts for years, and you have been turning them away because they did not arrive wrapped in hardship? Think about that for a moment. Really sit with it. How many times has something good appeared in your life, and your first response was suspicion rather than gratitude? How many times has an opportunity presented itself and instead of reaching for it, you hesitated because it felt too easy, too smooth, too unlike the rough path you were used to walking? That pattern is not protecting you. It is limiting you. And this shift, this release of struggle as your core identity, is what opens the door to everything else that is waiting to come through into your life. You do not have to earn abundance through suffering. You do not have to pay for joy with pain. You are allowed to receive good things simply because you are alive, because you are here, because the universe recognizes your energy and wants to match it with something beautiful. The fighter in you will always be part of who you are. But the fighter can rest now and then. The fighter can put down the sword long enough to open their hands and receive what is being offered. And what is being offered right now, Aries, is more than you have ever allowed yourself to imagine. But you will never hold it if your fists are still clenched around the old story. Let it go. Not all of it. Not the lessons. Not the strength. Just the belief that struggle is the only way. Because it is not. And this new season is here to prove that to you in ways that will leave absolutely no room for doubt. Shift 2. Choosing intentional stillness over reactive motion. The second shift is one that goes against every instinct you possess as an Aries, and that is precisely why it is so powerful. This shift is about learning to be still. Not because you have given up, not because you are tired, not because you have run out of options, but because you have discovered that stillness is where the deepest wisdom lives. You have spent much of your life in motion. Constant, relentless forward motion. When a problem appeared, you charged at it. When an obstacle stood in your path, you ran faster. When life knocked you down, you were back on your feet before the dust had settled, already looking for the next battle to fight. And that energy has served you well in many ways. It has kept you alive during seasons when others might have collapsed. But it has also cost you something. It has cost you the ability to see clearly, because when you are always moving, always reacting, always rushing toward the next thing, you miss the signals. You miss the quiet whispers of guidance that the universe sends in the moments of silence. You miss the subtle shifts in the current that could carry you to exactly where you need to go, if only you would stop swimming against it for just one moment. Intentional stillness is not the same as giving up. It is not the same as quitting or surrendering or admitting defeat. It is the opposite. It is the most powerful form of action available to you, because it allows you to respond instead of react. It gives you time to assess, to feel, to listen to the voice inside you that always knows the right direction, even when your mind is screaming 20 different opinions at once. The most prosperous people in this world are not the ones who move the fastest. They are the ones who know when to move and when to wait. They are the ones who have mastered the art of strategic patience, of holding their fire until the moment is exactly right, and then acting with precision and power that wastes nothing. This is the shift that is asking to happen in your life right now, Aries. Not a permanent retreat from action, not an abandonment of your fire and your drive, but a new relationship with stillness, a willingness to sit quietly with your thoughts long enough to hear what they are really saying, a commitment to pausing before you leap, not out of fear but out of wisdom, because the abundance that is approaching you requires clear eyes and a calm heart to receive it properly. It requires you to see the opportunity for what it truly is, not through the distorted lens of panic or impatience, but through the steady, focused gaze of someone who knows exactly what they are looking for and is willing to wait for it to arrive. Shift 3. Redefining what abundance actually means to you. The third shift that can move you into a new season of abundance requires you to examine something you may have never questioned before: your actual definition of abundance itself. What does prosperity mean to you, Aries? When you close your eyes and picture a life of abundance, what do you see? Is it a number in a bank account? Is it a certain kind of home, a certain kind of car, a certain lifestyle that you have admired from a distance? Or is it something else entirely? Something deeper and less tangible but infinitely more satisfying? If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Most people inherit their definition of abundance from the world around them without ever stopping to ask whether it actually fits who they are. They chase numbers, titles, possessions, and achievements that look impressive on the outside but feel hollow on the inside. And then they arrive at the destination they spent years pursuing only to discover that it is not their destination at all. It belongs to someone else. It was someone else's dream that they accidentally adopted as their own. And standing there, in the middle of a success that does not feel like success, they wonder why abundance still feels so far away even though they checked every box on the list. This shift is about getting honest with yourself about what you truly want. Not what you were told to want. Not what society says you should want. Not what the people around you expect you to pursue. What do you, in the quietest, most honest corner of your heart, actually desire? Maybe it is freedom. The freedom to wake up without an alarm, to spend your days doing work that matters to you, to live without the constant low-level hum of financial anxiety that has been your background noise for so long you barely notice it anymore. Maybe it is security, the deep, unshakable knowing that you and the people you love are taken care of, that there is enough, that there will always be enough, and that you do not have to be afraid of what tomorrow might bring. Maybe it is peace. Simple, beautiful, uncomplicated peace. The kind that comes from knowing you are exactly where you are supposed to be, doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing, and that the universe is not working against you but with you. Whatever it is, Aries, name it. Say it out loud. Write it down. Because until you define what abundance means to you personally, you will keep chasing a version of prosperity that will never satisfy you even if you catch it. This shift is about alignment between your pursuit and your truth. It is about making sure that the energy you pour into building your future is aimed at the right target. And when that alignment clicks into place, the path forward becomes clearer than it has ever been. Shift 4. Forgiving the financial mistakes of your past. The fourth shift is one that many people skip because it is uncomfortable and painful, and requires a level of self-compassion that does not come naturally to a sign as self-critical as yours. This shift is about forgiveness. Specifically, it is about forgiving yourself for every financial mistake you have ever made. every bad investment, every impulsive purchase that drained your savings, every opportunity you missed because you were too afraid or too proud or too distracted to act. Every time you trusted the wrong person with your money or your resources. Every decision that, in hindsight, looks foolish or careless or short-sighted. You carry these mistakes like stones in your pockets, Aries. Maybe you do not talk about them. Maybe you have never told anyone the full extent of the financial choices you regret. But they are there, weighing you down, pulling at you every time you try to move forward. And as long as you carry that weight, your steps will be slower and heavier than they need to be. The weight of unforgiven mistakes does not just affect your emotions. It affects your decisions. It affects your willingness to take risks, to trust yourself, to believe that you are capable of making good choices with money. Every time a new opportunity appears, the ghost of an old mistake whispers in your ear and tells you that you will just mess this one up too. That voice is not wisdom. It is fear dressed up as caution, and it is time to silence it. Forgiving yourself does not mean pretending the mistakes did not happen. It does not mean that the consequences were not real or that the pain they caused was not valid. It means acknowledging what happened, extracting the lesson, and then releasing the guilt and shame that have been attached to the memory for far too long. It means looking at your younger self, the version of you who made those choices, and understanding that they did the best they could with what they knew at the time. It means recognizing that every mistake was also a teacher, and you have already learned the lesson, so there is no reason to keep repeating the punishment. This is not easy work. Forgiveness never is, especially when the person you need to forgive is yourself. But it is essential work if you want to step into the new season of abundance that is waiting for you. Because abundance does not flow freely into a heart that is full of self-judgment. It needs space. It needs openness. It needs a foundation of self-compassion and self-trust. And building that foundation begins with one simple, powerful decision: to forgive yourself for being human. To forgive yourself for learning through trial and error. To forgive yourself for not knowing then what you know now. That decision, Aries, is worth more than any amount of money, because it sets you free. And freedom is the soil in which true abundance grows. Shift 5. Changing the way you talk about money. The fifth shift is deceptively simple, and yet it holds enormous power. It is about the words you use when you talk about money. The language you choose, whether you realize it or not, creates the framework through which financial energy flows into and out of your life. If your language around money is rooted in scarcity, fear, and limitation, then that is the framework your finances will follow. But if you begin to shift that language toward possibility, sufficiency, and growth, the framework changes. And when the framework changes, everything inside it begins to shift as well. Listen to yourself the next time money comes up in conversation. Do you say things like, "I will never be able to afford that. Money just slips through my fingers. I am terrible with finances. There is never enough no matter what I do. Rich people are lucky and I am not." These phrases seem harmless. They feel like simple observations about reality, but they are not observations. They are instructions. Every time you speak them, you are programming your subconscious mind to create a reality that matches those words. You are telling the universe exactly what you expect, and the universe, which responds to your dominant frequency, delivers accordingly. This does not mean you should lie to yourself or pretend that your current financial situation is something it is not. This is not about toxic positivity or magical thinking or pasting a smile over real problems. This is about choosing language that acknowledges where you are while also opening the door to where you are going. Instead of saying you will never be able to afford something, try saying you are working toward being able to afford it. Instead of saying money slips through your fingers, try saying you are learning to manage money more wisely. Instead of calling yourself terrible with finances, try saying you are developing a healthier relationship with money every day. These shifts in language might seem small. They might seem trivial or even silly. But they are anything but trivial, Aries. They are the verbal equivalent of turning a ship. A slight change in angle at the beginning creates an enormous change in destination over time. And the destination you are heading toward, the one where abundance is not just a dream but a daily reality, it begins with the words you choose to speak today. Shift 6. Investing energy in things that compound. The sixth shift is about where you direct your energy, and more importantly, whether that energy is building something that compounds over time or evaporating the moment you look away. There is a fundamental difference between spending energy and investing energy, and understanding that difference is one of the most important steps on the path to lasting abundance. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Think about how you spend your days, Aries. How much of your time and energy goes into things that will still matter in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years? And how much is consumed by urgencies and distractions that feel important in the moment, but leave no lasting trace once they pass? This is not about being productive every waking moment. It is not about turning yourself into a machine that optimizes every second for maximum output. It is about awareness. It is about recognizing that your energy is a finite and precious resource, and choosing to direct it toward the things that build upon themselves over time. Compounding is not just a financial concept. It is a life concept. Knowledge compounds. Skills compound. Relationships compound. Health compounds. When you invest your energy into learning something new, that knowledge does not just sit there. It connects with other things you know and creates new insights and capabilities that would not have been possible before. When you invest your energy into building a genuine relationship with someone, that relationship does not just exist in isolation. It opens doors to other relationships, other opportunities, other resources that multiply the original investment many times over. The shift here is about becoming more deliberate with your energy. Before you commit your time and attention to something, ask yourself, will this matter in a year? Will this create something that grows and builds and compounds? Or will it simply consume what I have and leave nothing behind? You do not need to get this right every time. Nobody does. But even a small increase in the percentage of your energy that goes toward compounding activities will create dramatic changes in your life over the months and years ahead. This is one of the quiet secrets of prosperity that most people never discover. It is not about how hard you work. It is about how wisely you direct your effort. And you, Aries, with your fire and your drive and your relentless determination, when you learn to aim all of that power toward things that compound, the results will be extraordinary beyond anything you have imagined. Shift 7. Trusting that you are being guided. The seventh and final shift is perhaps the most personal and the most difficult to accept for someone with your independent, self-reliant nature. This shift is about trust. Not trust in another person. Not trust in an institution or a system or a strategy. Trust in something larger than yourself. Trust that there is an intelligence in the universe that is aware of you, that cares about your journey, and that has been quietly guiding you toward abundance, even during the seasons when it felt like you were completely on your own. You have always prided yourself on being self-sufficient, Aries. You do not like asking for help. You do not like relying on others. You do not like the feeling of not being in complete control of your own destiny. And those qualities have served you in many ways. They have made you strong, resourceful, and resilient in the face of challenges that would have defeated someone with less fire in their spirit. But they have also created a blind spot, because in your determination to do everything yourself, you have sometimes closed yourself off to the guidance, support, and synchronicities that the universe was offering you freely. Think about the moments in your life when things worked out in ways you could not have planned. The job that appeared just when you needed it. The person who said exactly the right words at exactly the right time. The door that opened when every other door seemed locked tight. Were those really just coincidences? Or were they evidence of something larger at work? Something that has been watching over you and steering you toward your highest good even when you could not see it? Trusting that you are being guided does not mean giving up your agency. It does not mean sitting back and waiting for the universe to hand you everything on a silver platter. It means combining your incredible Aries drive with the willingness to be led. It means paying attention to the signs, the synchronicities, the quiet nudges that come in the form of intuition, unexpected encounters, and recurring thoughts that will not leave you alone. It means acknowledging that you are part of something much larger than yourself, and that this larger something is invested in your success and your happiness and your abundance in ways that your rational mind may never fully comprehend. This trust, once you allow it to take root, changes everything. Changes the way you make decisions. It changes the way you handle uncertainty. It changes the way you respond to setbacks and delays. Because when you truly believe that you are being guided, setbacks stop looking like failures and start looking like redirections. Delays stop feeling like punishments and start feeling like preparations. And the anxiety that comes from trying to control every aspect of your life begins to dissolve, replaced by a peace and a confidence that runs deeper than anything you have ever known. 7 shifts, Aries. 7 quiet, powerful, transformative changes that are not about doing more or trying harder or fighting the world into submission. They are about becoming different, about aligning who you are on the inside with the abundance that is waiting for you on the outside. Some of these shifts may have already begun in your life. Some may still be ahead of you, but all of them are available to you right now, in this moment, if you are willing to say yes to the process and trust that the season is changing. You have been in winter long enough. You have endured the cold, the darkness, the barren landscape of scarcity and limitation that made you wonder if spring would ever come again. But it is coming, Aries. It is already here, pushing through the frozen ground, reaching for the light, preparing to burst into bloom in ways that will astonish you. These 7 shifts are the keys that unlock that spring. They are the permission slip you have been waiting for, the green light, the signal that it is finally safe to hope again, to dream again, to believe that abundance is not just for other people but for you too. Because it is. It always has been. And the season of receiving is closer than you have ever dared to imagine. You have 2 options after this video. Close it and hope things shift, or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.